guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be my little research video on Utah. As I said in my previous video, which if you haven't seen, I will leave a link up here in the cards. I'm going to be hopefully going to Utah as my first ever solo trip. I am so excited for this. I cannot wait. But I figured I would show you guys what I did for the research I had so far. And then I left one little section blank, maybe two, so that way I can kind of walk you through the process of what I'm trying to look for when I'm doing my research. But before we get to that, I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about as to why I chose Utah, because it's a pretty random state if you ask me. Out of how many states? 50 states here. But as I said in the previous video, I've been to most of the states on the eastern seaboard. I have a few more to complete that eastern seaboard list of states that I've been to, but I've never really been out west, and Utah is definitely closer to the other side of the country. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Utah. And the second reason is that I just wanted a challenge. I'm mostly a city girl. You know, I prefer to be in a city type of environment like New Orleans. I absolutely love it. But just being by myself in like national parks or forests or woods, it's kind of like, it gives me anxiety a little bit. I don't know, I guess I just read and watch too many stories about people going missing in the woods and forests or whatever. But I just don't really see myself as a nature type of person. I do appreciate the beauty of nature, but if I were to choose, you know, to go to anywhere, I would go to more of like a city type of place, or if not, an area that has a city close by to it. I wouldn't gravitate towards like just a outdoor nature only type of place. So that is the second reason why I want to go to Utah. Third reason why I want to go to Utah is I figured it would be a pretty decent spot for my first ever solo trip. I took to Twitter and I asked a lot of people the state that they would prefer to go to if they were traveling solo, and a lot of people selected Utah. I had like 4 options. It was like Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and one other state, New Mexico or something like that. But they were pretty much out there on the other side of the country. So a lot of people said Utah. They said like the national parks are just beautiful, they're breathtaking. It's a really good place to start if you're traveling solo for the first time. So I figured, okay, I will take their advice and I will pick Utah. The fourth and final reason is just the beauty of Utah. Like if you look like the national parks in Utah, like they just look amazing. Like I would love to go there. So that's another reason why I just picked Utah. So without further ado, let's get into the research. So for my research, I'm going to be taking you through the little categories that I made in my Word document, and I'm going to explain in a little bit more detail as to why I created those categories and the research that I've done so far in them. So the title here is Utah 2021. I had to make that really clear that this was going to be a solo trip for 2021. And as you can see underneath here, the time frame, I decided to pick April. When I was doing my research, they said that April was a time where it wasn't as crowded as it normally is during the high peak season, you know, during like the summer months. So I figured, let me try starting in April. I wasn't going to do it in like January, February, March, because it's going to be way too cold. There's going to be snow on the ground, and I am not about hiking or walking on trails or doing anything nature-like in the snow. Not about that. So I figured maybe April would be, you know, a decent month to go. So I decided either April 15th to the 18th or April 22nd to the 25th. Those are both Thursday to Sunday days. Now, a few reasons why I decided to choose those specific dates. Number one, my mom's birthday is in April, so I wanted to pick dates that were kind of maybe mid-April and then later on in April, so that way I could try to spend time with her. Now normally for her birthday she likes to go to Hershey Park here in Pennsylvania, but because of the coronavirus this year, I don't know what she has planned or what she even wants to do. I will consult with her about that, but that's just one reason why I decided to pick those specific months. The reason why I picked Thursday and Friday is because, like I mentioned in the previous video, I do have a full-time job. It's really unfortunate because I feel like I can spend at least a month here in Utah just driving all up and down the state, north, south, east to west, and just exploring so many different things. But unfortunately, I cannot do that. I don't get a whole lot of PTO time, so I really have to pick and choose specific days and just delegate, certain amount of PTO time to each of my travels. And I prefer, if I am using my PTO, going on a Thursday and a Friday. It just, I don't know, to me just makes it feel like I have a little bit more time. It feels like a longer, like 4-day weekend, and it gives me time in the beginning and middle of the week to try to catch up on my work. The type of work that I do is something that I need to get done by myself. To the second category, which is weather. So during my research, I saw that the average temperature in April, that is in Utah, the high is 63 degrees. This is Fahrenheit because we're in America. 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and the average low is 44 degrees for these two specific time periods. I haven't quite decided which weekend, if you want to call them that, which days I wanted to go, because my mom's birthday is a couple days before April 15th, so I don't know if she wants me to be back home or if she wants to do anything. If she doesn't, then I was thinking of going then, but if she does want to do something, I have the 22nd to the 25th as another option, basically. And from my research, there wasn't like a huge drastic difference between the flights. So for April 15th to the 18th, I saw on average the flights were around $299 to $370. They may be a bit more if I decide to go with direct flights. And me personally, I prefer direct flights if I'm staying here in the USA, or if the flight time overall isn't really that long. I could see if I was going from like here to London, or maybe from here to Australia, like that's such a long flight. I know there are going to be stops in between, so I can justify, getting a plane ticket with those built-in stops. However, the average time from Pennsylvania to Utah is like 3 hours. And okay, I will save a bit of money, but depending on the layover time and whatnot, it's going to make that flight like 6 to 8 hours, and I just can't see or justify buying, a plane ticket with the layover built in when it's only going to be a very short, quick, trip. Going back to the price range for April 22nd to the 25th, prices were about $297 to $460. So as you can see, on the lower end of the price range, it's only like a $2 difference, but on the higher price end range, that's about $90 to $100 more, which isn't, that big of a deal to me, honestly. Because this is my solo trip, I am the only one that is going to be staying in a room. I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, I really don't see the point in spending so much money on a hotel room, because normally when we go to a hotel room, I'm with at least one other person and we can split the cost. If I'm with like my family or my boyfriend's family, that's even better. But if it's just me, and as you can see here, hotels range in Salt Lake City, Utah, from like $90 to $135 a night. That's very expensive only for like a 3-4 day trip. But I was thinking of doing like an Airbnb where it would be on the low end $29 to $66 a night. I have like 3 or 4 options in mind that I have saved in my little Utah folder on Airbnb, and they're really nice. They have really great ratings, superb. So I'm thinking I would probably go with that. That would be the better option. I can save a little bit of money in that department. Not only that, I'm planning on going to the national park, so most of the day I'm going to be spent outdoors just doing my own thing. I'm not going to be staying in the room, so I don't see how I would pay $100 a night for a room that I'm really only going to be in when I'm going to sleep. So that's just my mentality. Okay. The next one we are going to talk about are car rentals. Now, if you have seen Utah, it is a decent sized state. here in the good old US of A. And a lot of the national parks are just spaced out all over the state. And I was figuring, unless I do a tour or something, maybe if they have tours, which even if they did, I really don't want to go with the tour, I'm going to need a car to get around this state. Like, there is so much, space, so much wilderness, and it's really going to be difficult if you don't have a car, I feel like, just getting around. Because from one of the national parks that I wanted to go to, from where I was thinking about staying in Salt Lake City, that's like a 3 or 4 hour drive. Like, I am not going to pay a Uber for that. I really don't want to do a tour or anything like that, because I want to do things on my own time, my own way. And I feel like, having a car would be beneficial. And these are the prices that I found for several different car rental companies. There's Alliance, Hertz, and Avis. Those are the ones I specifically have benefits with based on my, I think it's my American Express card. They give me benefits and discounts and things like that because I'm a member and I'm affiliated with them. But the cheaper option I did find was Enterprise. And these are prices for the length of my stay. And the prices like the 460, the 460 to 540, and so on, those are prices that I found with just like a basic 4-door sedan model. I don't need an SUV really. I don't need a truck. I don't need a van. I'm only one person, so I figure a sedan will suffice. But I was looking at those prices and I'm like, okay, that's decent. Add in a couple of bucks for gas here and there and whatnot. I feel like this is where I'm really going to I don't want to say lose out on a lot of money, but this is where I'm probably going to spend a whole lot of money. Is just on a car. We are going to come to the wonderful activities section. Yes, and I know there's so much more to Utah than national parks, but that's what really attracted me to Utah, was just the beauty and the scenes of its national parks. So there are a lot of different national parks, but these are the ones that I was specifically looking at and that I feel like I could try to squeeze in for the duration of my time there. So there's Arches National Park, the Zion National Park, there's Bryce National Park. So, as you can see here for the research that I've done so far for Zion National Park from Salt Lake City in Utah, because that's one of the bigger major airports in the state. There are a few smaller ones, but I figure I'm just gonna go to like a big one so that way I can ensure I can get to like a quick car rental place. I don't have to like go out of my way and whatnot just to get a rental car. But it's a 4.5 hour drive from Salt Lake City to get to Zion National Park. I have tried to find Airbnbs that were open and available during the times I wanted to go to Utah, and I didn't have any luck finding anything that was in the area of the national parks. I will keep trying and I will see if I can get to a place that's a little bit closer. But for the time being, I'm just going to be in Salt Lake City and I'm going to have like a 4.5 hour drive, which honestly isn't the worst length in the whole world. I've driven much longer, so I think I can deal with it if I have to. And the rest of the bullet points that I have here are the trails, beautiful, and that I would like to go on. Now, whether I would be able to go on all of these in one given day, that's a whole other story. But I figure I would like to have a few options just in case I can't do my preferred trail. These are just some of the trails that I had in mind: the Navajo Loop Trail, the Queen's Garden Trail, and the Rim Trail. And just underneath those specific trails, I added a little bit more information about the trail. The app that I am using is called the All Trails app. And I discovered this when I was trying to research some specific trails in the state of Utah when I was going to go to the national parks. And it has a lot of really good reviews, and basically it is just an app where you can look up specific trails or specific hikes depending on the type of activity that you want to do based on the area or, you know, state that you are in. I'm going to look up Arches National Park, see, and that's the first one at the top, in Utah. There are 231 trails, my goodness. And basically what I do is I just give a little scroll through and just see if there's any trails that, you know, catch my eye or tickle my fancy. For the most part, a few of these trails are actually relatively short, easy for the most part. I'm sure there are harder ones. We'll just put that as a star, and then we're going to create a new list. I'm going to make it Arches National Park. Okay. So that is added. Click on the top portion. You can also see the beautiful pictures of the park. Oh, look at those. Okay, so I'm definitely going to add it, and just for the purposes, because I don't want to make this video too long. So under here, I'm gonna click that, and under that we're going to type Double Arch Trail. It is a 0.6 mile trail. Okay. And that is fine. And I'm just going to go through all of these other lovely trails. And then I'm just going to heart which ones I actually like. So this is basically the whole process that I do, not only with this solo trip but for any trip that I take. Usually I keep it all in my head, but once in a blue moon I actually write them down. But for this purpose I decided to write everything down, so that way I can show you guys what exactly goes into my research, the types of things that I research, the price range, so I can take into consideration how much this is going to be costing me. Price for the overall cost of the trip together, it is going to be around $1,092 for this trip. The thing of it is that this is just a plan, because currently we're still in a pandemic. If anything changes and we can't travel, then I will put this off a little bit longer until it is safer to travel. But here in the United States, if we're not on lockdown, and if the state of Utah doesn't impose any restrictions on traveling or any outside people traveling into the state, then I'm pretty much, you know, good to go. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications of any time I upload a new video. So I hope you guys are doing very well, and I hope you're able to travel this year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.